anything going on. It looked like it was all working from my end. But I'll wait for you guys. We have another half an hour to go over things. While I'm waiting, I'll go get the deck of character. I don't know what happened. Everything looked fine from my end. I tried to jump right back on so you'd all come back. I had no idea. No idea why that happened. Because I just came, I left and I came back. Yeah, no idea. I worked it out with the downstairs business. It was odd, wasn't it? There were 176 thumbs up and now we have to start from scratch. I hate when that happens. The other video was buffering and then started doing a replay. Let's ask about that. Is the problem with my Wi-Fi, does it stem from YouTube? Doesn't look like it. Just add another 24 thumbs up. Yeah, hang on a sec, because these cards are really slippery and they just fell. All right. Here, Democracy Smurf. All right. And my letters are still all backwards. Did I ever tell you about that debacle? YouTube would not, they would not tell me why it was. I asked YouTube what could cause that and they refused to tell me. So, oh well. You're smart, you can read backwards. No, that's, and I told them I was not gonna log out of my YouTube channel and try to log back in because I didn't trust YouTube to let me back into my own channel. That's how bad it is. Yeah. The reason that the pre-recorded videos, the letters are going the right way is because I record them on my iPad ahead of time, and I have the camera. I can adjust the settings on my iPad if I'm just recording a video, but on YouTube I cannot. All right, what we're gonna do is and you had trouble watching Church of Spirituality? Isn't that strange? Oh well. Yeah, see? But you can read that. When we fight, we win. It's hardly ever flipped over to the other side. Didn't quite make it with that breeze. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 3 cards about Dumpy. Just, you know, what is going on with... What's his fate from this point forward? We'll just go with the strangeness, right? It's a mystery. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 cards from this deck of character. What's going on? What's his fate? Tornado? The question is, what is Dumpy's fate? From the time that we're in right now, what's going to happen for him? Tornado. That's it. You know, sometimes I describe, no offense, don't take offense at this if you're a Gemini. Sometimes I describe Geminis as having like, because air signs have very active brains. They're always thinking. Air signs are risk overthinking. It's from my observation. Dumpy isn't a Gemini, and the new moon just went into Gemini, and here's the Gemini tornado over his head. So the question is, what's his fate from this point forward? Ocean. He might be crossing the ocean. He's going to sink like a rock in the ocean. Hey, Damon. Were you here before? Does that make sense? You're married to a triple Gemini? Oh my gosh, that must be a lot of chatter. Sometimes it's silent chatter. So the fate of him is he's gonna it's gonna be just like wah. Somebody guided said he's leaving tonight. What do you mean? He's gonna sink like a rock in the ocean. Damn, you're a Gemini, really? Interesting. Does that happen to you? Or if you have an air sign rising, like that can happen. Kathy's an Aquarius. Does that happen to you? I don't know if she's still here. No hoping and intending. We don't hope here, we intend. I mean, it's nice to have hope, but we intend too. Their guide said he is leaving. Who's they? I don't know how Trump is still alive at all either, just based on what he eats and drinks. Kathy left. She pops in for like 5 minutes. Most people, this is the average watch time here is 20 minutes. But just because I love you guys, I stay longer. All right, I'm going to pull 3 more cards, and I'm going to pull 3 cards about this bill. Now, just so you know, this big beautiful bill, first of all, they stole that. They stole the BBB from Biden. Because remember the Build Back Better bill. So this big beautiful bill, which I have said, I've called, and I'm not the only one, I've called it the murder bill. First I was calling it the cruelty bill, but really it goes further than that. It's a murder bill. It would take medicine away from people that need it to live. It would close down hospitals. If you think about it too long, you get so furious. And then I was mentioning yesterday that I went for a walk finally. It was a beautiful day, and I saw a yacht out there on the not on the high seas, just in the harbor. And I was thinking about these billionaires and how many yachts they need. The big bamboozle bill, yeah. And just disgusted. I'm just disgusted by this. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about the bill. But I don't feel... I mean, I saw Rand Paul, Josh Hawley... Who is the other one? Ron Johnson saying they weren't going to vote for it. And aren't there 2 others? Yeah, it's the murder bill. And we need to start calling it that. They need to pay 37% tax immediately, these billionaires. If they just... I love the way they're like, oh, well, you know, all this waste in our government. And if you want to have an anger attack, go watch MAGA Mike. Watch MAGA Mike if you want to have a if you're into having an anger attack. So, Warren, I don't know why you keep asking me that question. I've answered it already several times. What I'm seeing is that there are several MAGA Republicans that know it's going to harm them immensely. Yeah. Yeah, when they to cut FEMA, to cut the NOAA, to cut everything. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about the murder bill. Susan Collins I think Susan Collins is a no. You have angry attacks a lot lately, and aren't you in Canada? We're all in this together, right? Fire, door closing. They're measuring it out right now. It's it doesn't look like it's going to pass. It doesn't look like it's going to pass. Right now they're measuring it out. And the measure of this is showing them it's going to be really bad for them. J.D. Vance is pooping his pants, Damon saying. Oh no, Karen, you have to understand that as far as Ron Johnson, and they're all of the same ilk. Or you don't have to understand, I'm just saying that as a figure of speech. It's not that they're gonna all of a sudden like all of a sudden their black hearts are gonna turn like rose colored. It's not like that. It's that they have to deal with their constituents. They're not going to suddenly wax empathetic and compassionate. Don't get me wrong. That's not the reason. They don't want to put up with what they'll have to put up with. I don't give any of them that much credit. In Maple MAGA country, they're slow to wake up, but they're waking up, right? Texas Senator Cornyn is up for re-election, and you're saying he'll probably vote for it? I'm not picking that up. So I don't like to get into too much detail about the kinds of things that are as emotionally charged as this is. The only reason they would vote no is to be electable. That's true, and to not have to deal with their constituents. I'm telling you exactly what it feels like in the ethers right now when I tune into them. I just feel like they're very nervous. So what I want to ask about now is, because you know that Dumpy, just the way he killed the border bill, you know that he's going to start issuing major threats either directly or indirectly. And you know that that's what he did to the border bill, and so that they could still complain about the border bill. Yeah, keep calling, Karen. Keep calling Ron Johnson. Part of you wants this bill to go through so MAGA will realize how little T has for them. I think that they're realizing it now. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 cards about, actually I need the nefarious cards for this. 3 cards about what kind of pressure Dumpy's going to put on them. It's their job to do what their constituents want. Absolutely, but they haven't been doing that at all. They've been doing what Dumpy wants. What kind of threats will he issue? Because you know that he will. To take something away from, these are the kinds of things, kinds of threats that he's going to issue directly or indirectly to the MAGAs so that they'll vote for his bill. It's not going to work it's not going to work. He's going to promise. Thank you, Maria. I hope my channel doesn't buffer either. I fixed the Wi-Fi, but maybe it's solar flares. He's going to threaten to take something away from them. I guess you would say primary them. He's going to also threaten, he's going to threaten to take away their jobs, basically. And the Page of Swords. This is the pressure from the people. I feel like the pressure from we the people is going to make his threats, Dumpy's threats, not work. And besides the fact, think about all the people who aren't getting FEMA aid that are basically homeless right now, and pray for them. Send money if you can. Think about that. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, in terms of the MAGA Republicans. They're between a rock and a hard place, right? But they see the real life damage of FEMA being potentially, well, it's already been ripped apart. Yeah. Hello, Anita. 19 FEMA requests, 2 denied outright, 2 denied under appeal, all ignored so far. Plus, he's taking away the National Weather Service. Yeah, murder bill, meds. Murder bill means meds. Yeah, without meds you die. Yes, without meds people die. That's why I'm calling it that. And hurricane season is coming. Let's hope, since I'm in a flood zone here, let's hope we don't have a really terrible hurricane season. Yeah, I understand, Norma. I understand that people will die if it goes through, but it's not going to go through. Okay. You don't think the tornado sirens in St. Louis even came on when, yes. And what happened was they used to have an overnight person that monitored the weather there, and they had gotten rid of that person, and hurricanes and tornadoes hit in the middle of the night. Now, they hit at all times, but you have to have somebody there to blow the sirens, right? It was human error to not have somebody there, Amy? Cheryl's in a flood zone. Most of us are in a flood zone, right? So let me pull 3 cards about what's going to happen to this administration, because they're presenting this bill. Yeah, Kelly's saying no one was there. Yeah, no one was there, but usually they have an overnight person monitoring the weather in these places that got hit. I think that was St. Louis. Hang on a second. Okay. So because they're trying to do all these horrible things in order to harm the American people so that they can have all the money that they want. Because more and more people are knowing how cruel they're planning to be. People that voted for him will be having massive regrets. That's happening already. The 6 of Pentacles, well, they're trying to really be frugal and hold on to their money and tell themselves that they'll really be okay. A lot of the people that voted for him. And the 5 of Cups is, I really do have a sense of more people coming around to the reality. This is not are you a Republican or a Democrat? This is not that. Now, people are saying that this is going to be a horrible hurricane season, but I read something that said that it's going to be not a horrible hurricane season, but it's gearing up for next year to be really, really, really bad. Let's pull 3 cards about this. Sorry, we're not gonna get to 200 thumbs up tonight because we only have 190 in the house now. What if a tornado takes out their mansions? They've got millions at least. All right. Let's see how the Dems are doing. Can you imagine being that greedy? Oh my gosh. I can't. I'm very bad at making money. I'll tell you all that right now. Full disclosure. I can't even imagine having way less than $1 million. Okay, 3 cards about the Democrats. They can all live at Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, but that's in a flood zone too. That's been the curse of my life. I just don't know how to do it. It's not good. Anyway, but we have fun. What are the Dems doing? I have the Sun card. Okay. Interesting. There are a couple people now. Actually, the Joe Biden, the news about Joe Biden and the way that they've continued to bash him. I'm about to write a Substack article about the brand of evil that we have been seeing in America. and whether this is just a new breed of human. I'm about to write about that because it's just so, like, speaking of not being able to wrap your mind around something, like, what kind of person just, I mean, this is how bad it is. I feel like these MAGAs behave so badly. The ones that are the worst of the worst of the worst, you know, and some of them are bots. Like, if somebody's loved one had just passed away, and that person was sitting in the room with their loved one who had just passed away, the mentality of this MAGA evil is like that they would make fun of them for crying for their loved one passing away. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about. In the face of how awful that they were to Joe Biden, I feel like the question is about Democrats. The Democrats in Congress right now. That's actually shown a light on how awful it is to be following Dumpy, who said that Biden had stage 9 cancer. Has anybody ever heard of stage 9? It only goes up to 4. And the Prince of Swords. I see, as far as the Democrats go, I see some young Democrats in Congress really shining. And I see the truth coming out about the real hardcore MAGA that's just evil. And I mean evil. Like Stephen Miller evil. That's evil. Empathy is weakness to them. Yeah. They think empathy is weak. Wait till they're you know, on their deathbeds. No, it's not. Damon was looking up stage 9 cancer. He made it up. And I agree that Stephen Miller is demonic. He's absolutely demonic. But as far as the Democrats go, the way that the MAGAs have been treating Joe Biden has really shown a light on what the American people really want. They want kindness and compassion. And the Prince of Swords, there's some young whippersnappers coming up in the Democratic Party that are really powerful. 202 in the room. We need that many thumbs up if we're gonna do a group hug. I'll hang tight. I'll hang in there till we get them if you want. We got a ways to go. Pin through the heart, Lynn saying. Did anybody have a picnic today or anything? Did you guys have a picnic? Did you get outside? It's nice to be out for a while. All right, what I'm going to do now. I like these cards, but they're very slippery. You smoked a rack of ribs. Wow, that's very ambitious. Virginia Beach is dead this weekend? Oh, really? People walked outside. Good. That's the best thing to do when you're stressed about everything that's going on. Go for a nice long walk. I'm going to pull 3 cards about what's coming up for MAGA, for the MAGA Republicans this week. We'll pull some of the 3 cards from the deck of character. We'll reach 200 thumbs up on Wednesday. Don't worry, we'll get there. Your food garden's doing really well. Excellent. Hurricane is very crazy. You live in Arkansas. Pretty quiet at the Outer Banks. Yeah, we might see a very light tourist season, and believe me, heads are gonna roll. If Dumpy continues, heads are gonna roll. The American people are really gonna be livid. Took a bike ride. Good for you. I have a bike and I never ride it because I'm afraid of how people drive, which is such a shame. This week for the MAGA Republicans, they're going to be seen as weirdos. They're going to be trying to figure... This is what I'm reading on the MAGA Republicans. These cards are fun. They're going to be perceived as weirdos as they explore some way to navigate through this murder bill. I actually am picking up that they're gonna, I don't know when they're supposed to vote on this thing. I'm trying not to track it because it's just so stressful. But it feels like some of them are gonna leap away from their MAGA ways. So, one final thing for tonight. I want to read on Pope Leo. I'm getting a lot of big energy. Big energy coming from Pope Leo. And I've picked up on some things recently that give me a lot of hope. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about, well, the stained glass cards make the most sense, right? Since we're reading about the Pope. Okay, so if anybody's feeling discouraged and if anybody's being cynical and pessimistic, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not specifying anybody. But if you find yourself in that place, I want you to know how powerful you are. I want you to know how often I have gotten, and I've mentioned it a few times, and I talked to my friend yesterday on the phone, and she was saying she's getting the message. You just need to know what you want to see happen. You don't have to know how or when. So everybody who's like, oh no, the bill is going to pass, they're just stop right there, reel it in. What you want to have, that is way more powerful than I think than people know. I'm buffering again. All right, so what I'll do is I'll read on Pope Leo. Am I buffering again? Should I just sign off? I'll be able to tell how bad it is when people start dropping like flies. All right. I'll pull 3 cards. I actually have a Wi-Fi connection now, so all right. Well, I'll pull 3 cards about the Pope. And crew pug against buffering. I don't know what's going on. I think that I mess up technology. I've gotten to the point. My soul is fine right now. That's a funny thing to say. I'm back. Okay. I think it's me. And I've heard many times that the dark side messes with technology just to get you to feel crazy. 3 cards about Pope Leo. Now, let me just tell you that, I'm hinting that I feel like it's a really, really, really good thing. You know that popes do negotiations with countries to find peaceful resolutions to war? Yeah, I don't have a router. Damon. I worked out with the business downstairs to use their Wi-Fi. We're sharing it. I can't break in. But next time I'll reboot my iPad. I feel like Leo knows a lot about what's been going on with Opus Dei, the dark part of it, the dark side and the evil. And I feel like yeah, Eco Soul Art is saying he needs to do an exorcism. Let me say something to you. He knows how. And I think that he is. And I talked about that before too. That's my psychic impression. Whatever you might think that means that he's doing an exorcism, you could just say praying is an exorcism. Wheel of Fortune, yeah, things are going to turn. He's seeing how much has been stolen. Yeah, the energy of this new pope. And I'm just saying the energy of him. He wouldn't have to do a thing, right? But I do see him talking to countries that are in conflict. I do see that. The Wheel of Fortune, things are going to change. As he's seeing how much is being stolen from innocent people, including innocent lives. And the Tower, things are going to change with this new Pope. Dumpy needs a voodoo doll. They're out there. I received one. I'm not using it. People send me things. All right, tea leaves and then we'll go. As long as I'm still here and not pixelating. You all can pray and intend too. Think about what you want and mostly feel the feeling. Feel the feeling. There are still Damn It dolls on Amazon. Yeah, Kathy Beale has a Damn It doll. Zircon, you came back. You hope Annabelle the Raggedy Ann doll visits Washington, D.C. You're funny, Darren. All right, let's see what we have here. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. If you came on late, you can watch us on replay. If you came on late, the reason there's 2 videos for tonight is because my Wi-Fi wonked out. Because technology apparently hates me. You cried at Mission Impossible? Because you want a superhero? You're the superhero, Suzanne! You are it! Hey, Kalani. Okay. You're from St. Louis and all you had were the telephone calls about the was it a tornado or a hurricane? Yeah. We're not going to stand for what this administration is doing. Come on, let's get real. We're not going to stand for it. I don't know, Kalani. I don't know about the Wi-Fi. I think it's me. So, interesting. This is Mars, and this looks like a candy in a wrapper. You know, a candy, like a candy, like a hard candy wrapper. So what I'm seeing here is Mars. There's a gift coming, and then there's a stick. There's a couple of ways that I'm seeing this, and this is like, this looks like, this could be representing Putin and something just like, that looks like a spear, right? I won't go any further with that. With this new moon energy, we have, this new moon is going to, this is like an underlining, like an emphasis to this new moon. This week will be a defining week. What happens this week will define our future. So pay attention. Also, this looks like a handbag. That looks like a handbag. There are things that are hidden right now. That looks like a duck or a vulture or something. That's we're gonna hear more about the FAA. I think something's gonna go down with the FAA in terms of investigations and finding things out about how they messed with the FAA. Now, I want to just mention too, speaking of airplanes, that several months ago Putin said that planes in the Western world were going to be going down, and look what happened. Right? Pray for safety. This looks like a torch, which indicates kind of like passing the torch. There's a lot of energy around passing the torch to the next generation. I think we're going to see a lot of young people really rising up. But that looks like a journey. That looks like, yeah, it looks like a journey. That's a bird flying over. It just looks like we're going to transcend some things this week. Yeah. Yeah, private jets are going down. Okay, so interesting. But the moon with the underline there, that's this new moon in Gemini is going to highlight a lot of things. It could be other astrological aspects also highlighting things. So I want to thank you for being here tonight. Please check out Church of Spirituality from yesterday. Great messages in that service. thumbs up, subscribe, and please book a reading. Help me out. So I will help you out. You help me out. PsychicAnnetteDion.com. All right, and tomorrow I'll do Off the Ledge, and I'll do a pop-up, and tomorrow night I don't have PNN, but we'll see you then. All right, and I love you so much. Have a great night. Thank you for hanging in there with me during the tech issues. Namaste. Go have some fun. Bye. Thank you.